Hey there, it's Michael V with episode 2 of a 1951 Mercury lead sled project. In this episode, we're going to uncover a whole bunch of nasty sheet metal and remove a whole bunch of body filler, visit the SEMA show and have the car on display there in under construction mode, and we're going to start removing all kinds of different modifications that weren't correct. I needed to see what the car looked like, so I took out the spray bomb primer and primered the whole car so you could actually see the shape and what it's actually going to look like in one color. As you can see, the tail lights are on, the bumper's on, the rear bumper, etc. And the next step's going to be to start working on the front grille. I wanted to do a different grille than everybody else uses. Most people use DeSoto teeth. What I decided to do was take a tip from Bo Huff and use some teeth off a 1951 Ford pickup truck. Obviously they'll be heavily modified. This is the center bar, and then I started adding the teeth to the center bar. You'll see what it sort of looks like here in just a second. I think it gives the car a little more radical look and a cleaner look. Here's most of the teeth placed on the grill bar. Later on I removed the grill bar because it just wasn't going to allow a lot of airflow, but this gives you an idea of what this looks like. These teeth are left, right, and centers. They came from 3 separate trucks and took over a year to accumulate. I was invited to bring the car to SEMA from an old company I worked for, so here it is on the trailer on the way to Las Vegas. I've got the white walls put on it. I've got some fiberglass skirts that I found just to sort of give it the traditional look. Here it is in the booth at SEMA, and lots of people stop by to take a look at it. You can see that the teeth are in place. The 53 DeSoto front bumper was bolted up just for looks, etc. While I was on display at the SEMA show, like I said, many people stopped by. One of them was a living legend. He's still around today. That would be none other than Mr. Gene Winfield. Here him and I are speaking about the car and what my next step should possibly be to make sure that it's as traditional as I could make it for the time period. Gene invited me to come to his shop in the future with the car to get some more advice, and I handily took it. He's an awesome guy. Here we're discussing my 3-window conversion, which is typically unconventional, but Gene liked it and said to continue with the idea. Once returning from SEMA, I met up with a guy named Tim Bostwick who worked with Gene Winfield. He uncovered a whole bunch of nastiness underneath this car that I never knew existed. Look at the rear quarter panels. This guy's an artist in his own right. He was actually able to cut all that out and repair it properly, making the wheel well openings proper so the car would look like it was supposed to look from the original factory. You can see just an incredible amount of body filler was in this car, which was good and bad. It was good because there was no rust. It was bad because it wasn't any fun to repair. Here you can see Tim's sheet metal artistry. Look how he molded in the rear bumper and just totally cleaned up that lower rear quarter panel. It's awesome. Next up was some more traditional mods, rounding the rear trunk corner and also rounding the lower door corners, which you'll see here in this next picture. We also started to work on the 3-window conversion, meaning we removed the rear windows to give it a longer, lower look. Most unfortunately, I also discovered some more junk in the chop, and we had to fix that. The lower windshield panel there. And the 3-window conversion actually worked out wonderfully. It's clean, it looks good for the time, and it gives the car a longer look. Next up was wind wings. I used some wind wings off the rear of a 49 Mercury that'll open up the wrong way. This will allow more air into the car. From this point, I met up with a gentleman named Craig Gilliam. He's one of Gene Winfield's right-hand guys and a metal artist in his own right. He suggested I remove all of the body filler. Look at the half-inch thick worth of body filler on this car. This was no small feat to do. It literally took me weeks using a torch and various tools just to try to get this stuff off. Some of it was so thick in areas that it wouldn't even cured, and when I used the torch on it, it actually cured it. Next up was the removal of these hood scoops. Although they are sometimes considered traditional, they're also rain catchers, as you can see in this. Look at the rust underneath. Once removed, there was still some stuff that needed to be done. They were actually brazed on. This could have been done in the 80s sometime, so I had to fix all that and repair all the sheet metal. Much of the fabrication was done from me, but when you need to do something, sometimes you need to actually hire outside people. This is where Craig came in. Most unfortunately, here was some more nastiness uncovered. These were Frenched headlights. They were brazed tacked, and then they were filled in with body filler. What a frickin' mess. I had to remove all that, and then it left some big holes in the body. This is when it was going to be time to call in some other people for help. It had gotten over my head at this point. Take a look at this. Look at the big hole left over on the right side from removing the Frenched headlight. Now we got to get rid of this molded front bumper. 80s style doesn't work here. Here it is cut away and leaving some more electrical conduit that somebody used to try to make and form the front end. Just terrible. Again, you can see the big hole left over from the French headlight rim, and in this picture we're starting to do the front bumper 53 DeSoto and then add a new splash pan and put it all together the right way. The grill opening also revealed a whole bunch of stuff that needed to be fixed too. There is just tons of body filler in this car. This is where the original turn signals used to be. I decided to fill all that in and smooth it out. This way I could start fresh. I've got big plans for some extra cool headlights and some really cool turn signals in the future. You'll see those in a future episode. Here it is, everything smoothed and pretty much ready for body. With the body filler removed near the front windshield frame, you could actually see where this was gas welded. Again, probably done in the 80s or before. That was fixed. Next up was fixing the floor. Here's a floor pan I made for the driver's side that I made out of heavy sheet metal that needed to be repaired. Here it is welded in. May not be that exciting, but it's something that you have to do once in a while to fix things that aren't done the right way. Finally got the car all stripped down, no more body filler anywhere. Now we can actually see what we got to work with. Craig and I are going to go to town on this thing. You'll see in future episodes.